I'm here with Piyush Pandey, who's just arrived this morning
Yes.
from Mumbai and just came off the stage here at the Spikes talking about India, what's different, and how do things work differently in India as opposed to other markets. Let's first talk about Indian creativity. There's a lot of it.
I think it's a great place for creative work. Very difficult, and therefore it's a great place. Difficult because it's almost like a continent, and it's not a country. There are 20 languages that people speak. There are so many cultural differences, and to capture the cultural commonality becomes the challenge. So I think the work's looking good. The people of India are very happy with advertising, let's put it like this.
So it's a different take. It's not this cynical, I don't want to fast forward, I want to avoid the ads.
Yeah, so regardless of what the jury thinks, the people of India love Indian advertising. That's a good side of it. As you rightly said, till now we have not been killed by the fast forward buttons.
What are the kinds of advertising that people like? Is this something that you can just take a global campaign and stick it into India?
99.9% of the time that doesn't work.
That will fail.
Yeah, people like storytelling, people like to be engaged, people don't like to be told. Recently I was sharing a bank commercial with people, and the bank wanted their theme music to play on a beautiful story. So there were two versions, and the people turned around and said, I don't like the one with the theme music because I know what is going to come right from the beginning. So that's a very refreshing thing for the audiences to say to people, that don't spoon feed me, engage me, surprise me, delight me. So that's the kind of stuff that works.
Yeah, and the role that was shown just before you came on stage showed a lot of the ads that have a long, they're not a quick ad that shows one thing. They have several levels to it going through.
I think that's the maturity of the audience, that unless you have layers happening, the repeat value of people seeing it is not there. So the good filmmakers, the good creative directors like saying stories where every time you discover something new, a little bit more. Otherwise, it becomes a scenario, even if you love an ad, people start complaining, why the hell do they have to run it 10 times a day? So it's a good balance that you have to find.
How do you deal with the many Indian cultures and languages? Do you try and aim for all of them, or do you find that more and more you're going for different parts of India at a time?
I think you have to go for different parts of India. You have to be very sensitive, because there's so many religions in there, there are so many governmental rules out there. You start doing something good and you find that there are 10 people making noises that they don't like it. And this trait is beautifully used by competitors. So if you see something that is wonderful about your competitor, then you catch hold of some society of people and they have an objection to your ad. So it's a tricky thing, but I think the joy of the journey is in finding what is that cultural nuance which touches all people around. And I think that's where the challenge is.
What are some of the things that would speak to a larger group? Is it the broader themes of India, development? Well, there's a little bit of discussion on exoticism in India.
I think there are two ways of looking at it. If you're doing it for the sake of doing it, you will be caught out. But there is a lot of exotic India which India loves seeing. You do it in a relevant fashion, it'll always work for you. You do it like a tourism ad, it won't work for you.
Yeah, there's one contrast drawn in the discussion between Slumdog Millionaire, which did well outside of India, but was not received so well.
It was not meant for India. So let's put it like this. It was a British filmmaker wanting to make a theme out of India, a film out of India. And he went to town, catching those things that we find repulsive, the West finds fascinating. So it wasn't meant for India. So I'm not complaining that why didn't it run in India? It was not meant for India.
Right.
I mean, lots of people have made films in India, like The Far Pavilion, it was not meant for the Indian audience. I mean, I can go and shoot something in South Africa using their culture because it interests my audience.
Right.
It need not work for the South Africans. So I think we have to take these things with a pinch of salt.
Final item, getting the best out of creatives in India. Do you find that advertising attracts the best creatives, and what do you do to get the best out of them?
I think we need to attract a lot more. Work attracts people. Work makes people get interested in advertising. When they see some stuff and they say, how wonderful, I can also do it, that attracts people. But have we as an industry made enough efforts of going around the country, exciting the talent, and I think there is a lot of it around the country. We haven't done much, and I think we need to do that. If we can cut some of our lengthy meetings around the world and travel the country a little bit, it might be a little more helpful.
And trying to get the best out of them, what is the best way to get to drive creative talent? You've had a whole career of driving creative talent. What are your top tips?
I think number one is don't take yourself too seriously. Okay. Allow expression. But it's like, how do you train a pilot? You don't give him the plane on day one. He sits along with you. Then when he flies the plane, you sit with him. And then he flies the plane alone. So I think the process is very simple. Engage them, participate with them. Don't teach them. Let it rub off. Spend enough time with them. And nothing works better than appreciate their work. Don't say it was done like this in my days. It's very simple. Expose them to a lot more, encourage them to a lot more, and be sensitive to them. I think there are no formulas. There are only just soft ways of getting the best out.
It's almost organic, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, Piyush.
Thank you, Thomas. Take care.